Hello and welcome to Talk of the Game. It just finished. Liverpool 4, West Ham United 1. West Ham now sit just 3 points ahead of the relegation zone. We're on 30 points. Three sides are on 27. It's getting tight down the bottom, but we're here to discuss whether we just write this one off or we're worried. It just took Liverpool 2 minutes to show what they can do as Mo Salah whacked the post after skinning James Collins simply by putting the ball onto his stronger foot. Marko Arnautovic then hit the ball with some... Well, Charlie, what do you make of Arnautovic overall today? I mean, he hit the bar, he had a dipping shot at the end of the first half, wasn't quite ineffective in the second, but he was in no man's land again.
Yeah, I think going forward, our team was just ineffective in the second half. Apart from the goal that we actually scored, I didn't think we really did literally anything of note. In the first half, he gave it his shot. He did well considering he didn't really have enough backup, I don't think. João Mario was getting into good positions, but just couldn't seem to control the ball to save his life. And so he sort of was by himself. And I think he shouldn't have taken the shots he did because they were from stupid speculative positions, but he did force saves out of Karius a couple of times and almost score a couple of times. So if they go in, I'm not exactly complaining.
In the 20th minute, Liverpool finally made broke the deadlock. Gonzo, was that a deserved lead for Liverpool come the 28th minute?
Yeah, I think so. Although we hadn't been bad up to that point, I didn't think. I thought it was up to the point they scored. It was all right. Although I think I looked at the possession stats and they had 80% possession, but that's no surprise. I mean, we knew this. We discussed all this in the preview. We knew they were going to have lots of the ball, and I think I said in the preview it was just whether they were going to have 70% possession or 80% possession. So yeah, they deserved it.
Gonzo was a corner whipped in, poorly marked. It's just where it frustrates me really because their goal, I can accept if we lose a goal to good play by good footballers, but their goal, their opener, was a corner. That's just basic defending. Milner's backing into Adrian. Sorry, but some defender should be in between those two, grabbing Milner by the scruff of the neck and pushing him back out. And Adrian has zero protection from his defence there. There will be critics that say Adrian should come for it, of course, but to me, a keeper can't get out of that. A keeper's in trouble there. If the keeper touches him, he'll go down. Then all of a sudden he's conceding a penalty. There should be a defender in between Adrian, and then the ball comes in, and everybody, our whole defence is just about 1 second behind what's actually happening. By the time Emre Can's got the header, and Evra's only just getting up off the ground to make a challenge for it. Gonzo, is it frustrating that something as simple as that is what gives them the lead?
Yeah, it is frustrating, but it's unsurprising. This is what we do. This is what we're like. When Moyes, we had a really good run where we looked tight against City and Chelsea and Arsenal, but then we've got even the same coaching team have got the capacity to have us playing in the way we did against Everton, where we got absolutely smashed. I think we can lurch from being really tight and really resolute and looking like one of the best defensive teams in the league to conceding 4 or 5. And I don't say it lightly. I was being kind when I said a 3-1 prediction. I was actually thinking in my head it would be 5-0. I think we'd be really solid in our next game defensively. That's what we're like. We can be tight as anything, or we can concede a hatful. It is frustrating but unexpected. But totally expected. Sorry.
Went in 1-0 at half time, and then in the second half, Charlie, it took them just 5 minutes. We all knew we knew he was going to score eventually. It was just a case of when. He come close in this first half. He finally made it 2-0, but well, I always say, show me a goal, show you an error. Where's the error here? Charlie Oxlade-Chamberlain runs through the middle of the pitch, through ball to Salah. He's got Creswell behind him. He tucks away in the far corner. 2-0 Liverpool. Likely game over at that point.
Yeah, there were arguably 2 or 3 defenders who probably could have stopped it at any one point. They got a bit of luck as to when it rolled through to Salah, but even then, it's like 2 of the players could have stopped it. Then he does Cresswell like there's no tomorrow, and it's difficult. You're talking about them feeling like a second behind all the time, and it's when players are so quick, you have to be almost 2 steps ahead of them just to keep up with them. They're so fast, and they just were behind the times at all times. There was never a moment when I felt like our defence had fully grasped the situation. Whenever the ball was getting cleared out the way the situation was, it felt like to me pure luck, and we were just grasping at stuff. It didn't feel like we were ever ahead of them at any
It was 3-0 just 7 minutes later. Long ball from Adrian. Mario controlled it and miscontrolled it in one move. Lovely through ball. I think it was by Emre Can to Firmino. But Gonzo, out comes Adrian, flying out. And then obviously half a second later, Firmino was just dribbling into an empty net.
Yeah, but I think the key was, as you say, it was Mario giving the ball away. Just as you know, you want to point to those defensive errors, then you can. But you've got to be better than that, Liverpool. You've got to not let them get at you. Yeah, maybe shades of Joe Hart rushing out in that sense against Everton, if you like. But also thought with the first goal, if you remember, we were on the attack. And Arnautovic done a really lovely move. We were on the attack. And then we just couldn't finish off the move. It bang, 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 bang. And all of a sudden, they get a goal. So I think you can look at, for both goals, errors that were made by us higher up the pitch resulted in them scoring a goal. You can't give them a sniff. You've got to be strong in possession. You've got to be much better in possession. You keep the ball, and then your defenders and your goalkeeper are not scrambling to make those last-ditch attempts. And maybe was it Chan for that one? Maybe Oxlade-Chamberlain, who was excellent today. But yeah, I mean, it was easy for Firmino in the end, really, because we made it easy for him, and he did a cocky little celebration, didn't he?
I think Adrian makes the right call, actually, coming out for it. The problem is he doesn't kick the ball. That's the issue. He gets there first, but he either misses it or he bottles it a little bit, thinking that he's not going to get there and he's going to clatter into Firmino and maybe get sent off. That 2-0 down, if you think your away gets sent off, is probably the right thing to do, just to accept that you've messed up a little bit. The game pretty much over anyway. He just misses the ball, unfortunately. But the second one, Oxlade-Chamberlain is a fantastic assist. It really is, because he dribbles past a few players. But that's the problem. He dribbles past a few players. It's like I was watching it going tackle, fucking tackle. Oh well, 2-0. Never mind. You know. He just kept running. There's 2 or 3 West Ham players got a touch to the ball as well, and it stayed in his path. You could say he's a bit fortunate, but I don't think he is. Our players just weren't strong enough in the tackle. Oxlade-Chamberlain just wanted it a little bit more. This guy has had I wouldn't call it a troubled start to Liverpool, but certainly people have been saying, well, is he actually worth the fee? Is he worth all the hype? He just ran that game today, Oxlade-Chamberlain. But, Charlie, a minute after it was 3-0, it was 3-1. Antonio came on off the bench after that goal, and like a minute later he scored. But Chiati, who was the one I was going to criticise for not putting the tackle in, does really well here. He shows his strength, gets his head up, plays Antonio in, and he finishes it well.
Yeah, it's a shame it took them 3 goals to actually realise Chiati could tackle the ball. But you say he does really well, and then the ball is decent. And I can't remember which one of Gonzo and Mike called it, but one of them at half time said, I'd like to see what Antonio could do against their high line. And I think we should have made that substitution at half-time. It should have been earlier, because he only really got one chance. But their line was so high up. Arnautovic he's quick, but he's not as quick as Antonio is, and he was getting in behind. You want someone who's just going to burst through at pace and just directly run at them and see what happens. And that's exactly what happens. It showed that they were there for the take, and we could have got something from today's game if we'd been a bit more proactive and a bit more attacking about it. But unfortunately, we sat back, and then the reward is that we've got kind of trounced by Liverpool today. So it's a great finish by Antonio. Fantastic to just find that bottom corner in a tight space like that.
Mane hit the post, and then on the 76th minute, Mane made no mistake this time. Gonzo, we did a half-time show, and we said we need a plan to stop Robertson. In the first half, Robertson was flying down that left wing. So what did we do at half-time to combat that? Nothing. We just let him continue flying down the wing, and eventually it paid off. Down he went, beautiful ball across, Mane on a plate for him. 4-1 Liverpool. Yeah,
nice little finish by Mane as well. I think they were really good. They were really good. I mean, the score flattered us today. It should have been 7-1 or 7-2, really, and that's they're so good. I mean, I've got to disagree with what Charlie said. I think what he said about different tactics or whatever. Something different. We could have challenged them. I don't know if we could. I just think their players are above and beyond anything that we've got. You spoke about Oxlade-Chamberlain. He did run a game. And he did come under a lot of stick from a lot of people when he signed. He was 35 million, be the best player in our team. If he played for our team, maybe a bit harsh on Arnautovic possibly, but I mean, they've got some fantastic players, and like you said, Robertson. looks great. We've brought Evra in. Does Evra look as good as Robertson? No. So I mean, even their less Trent Alexander-Arnold on the right looks really good as well. Even Emre Can, I'm not a huge fan of, looked really good today. They've got a very, very, very good team. So I've just got to take this one on the chin, I'm afraid. They're just so much better than us, and they are second, I think, only to Man City in the league.
I tried to write this game off before. Like, I remember doing a preview and I said, I'm not expecting anything. This is bonus points. But that fourth goal, though, Robertson gets the ball. Kiati is about 10 yards away from him, which is fine. He's in the right position, Kiati. He's far enough away that Robertson can't run at him. So Robertson passes the ball and moves. By the time Robertson gets the ball back, he's 10 yards the other side of Czech Kiati. Like, it's this lack of commitment and passion and desire and just actually work rate that really, really irritates me. And it's not the first time we've seen Kiati do this. It's not the second or third time either. If you really wanted to go through the whole season, you could probably pick out 5 times that Kiati's runner has just ran ahead of him. This was, I know I keep picking on him, but I can't help it because Kiati's strength is meant to be being athletic. He can't even do that. It's just, it frustrates me. If you give Swansea any sort of sniff that we gave Liverpool today, they'll take it. They're in good form. They got thumped today, but they're doing all right recently, and we're all of a sudden 3 points ahead of relegation. We lose next week. Swansea are joint. They're equal with us. It wasn't long ago. Everybody's saying Swansea are down. It's changing quickly. I think you two have got different answers here. Gonzo, I'll come to you first. Do we just write this one off, or are you looking at this thinking, actually, this is a bloody worry here?
I'm no more worried than I was before. I keep saying I expected to get thumped in this game. I'm no more outraged, and I exactly what I thought would happen. I am not surprised. I didn't get what we. There was one point where we were in 12th. I was never fooled by any of that. I'm not. I know it's tight, and it's really tight. You look at Huddersfield, you look at Brighton, Hove Albion, maybe West Brom are gone. I just watched some clips just before we finished. It was showing the last minute of every game, and it's really tense and it's really tight down there. It's going to be very, very exciting end to the season. Many teams are not out of this, and I was never fooled into thinking we were out of this. Liverpool put 4 past Man City, of course. They put 4 past us today. And I'm not saying everything's rosy at all, but I'm just not going to gauge us on today's result. Next week is huge. Next week is massive. That's the big one. And their manager's clever as well, the ex-Sheffield Wednesday fella. So that's the one. That's the one I'll be getting worked up about. I am, in answer to your question, writing this one off.
Charlie, what about yourself? I mean, where's it gone wrong today as well, Charlie? Where's it gone wrong?
It's easy to write it off because Liverpool are so much better than us going forward. And so it's easy to just go, oh, do you know what? It is what it is. My worry from this game is that Moyes got overawed by the occasion. He didn't look confident in himself. Like, if he had confidence in our team at halftime, he would have changed literally something. But he sort of sat there and waited and looked at it and said, let's see what happens. First thing that happens is they score a goal, and then all of a sudden we're back on the back foot even more than we were originally. That's my concern going forward. You know what I mean? It's Liverpool. They were always going to be a better side than us going forward. I think the fact that we just rolled over and let them is the worry for me going forward. But where it went wrong, I just think it's half-time, simply put. I think he put out basically the right team. It was the team I would have chose. But at half-time, he had to make a change, and he just didn't. He sat there and waited. And then with a team like Liverpool, they came forward. There were so many signs in that first half where through balls, chipped through balls, everything was just really pushing us to our limits. And we were getting kind of lucky and riding our luck. And he chose to ride it and just look at it. You say, during the half-time live, you said, should we roll the dice and go more attacking? It's an equal roll of the dice to just sit there and do nothing. And that's exactly what he did. And that was the problem today for me.
Gonzo, Charlie said there he picked the right team. There was a bit of criticism when the team came out this morning. There was a bit of criticism aimed at David Moyes. Do you think he's picked the right one? Obviously, the big two. Don't talk about Evra because we'll talk about him individually in a minute. But the big one was dropping Hernandez, obviously. And when we did the preview, we were sort of humming and hawing, and you thought, well, I would drop him. But I just want to say to you, because you said, well, if we're going to drop Hernandez, we sort of need Antonio to counter the loss of attacking threat. The problem is we didn't do that. We sort of took out an attacking player, but we didn't put any attacking player. Yes, okay, we put Lanzini in, but we also took out Antonio. So what did you make of the starting 11 when it came out? And is that to sort of blame for the loss?
Yeah, good question. I thought he'd done. When I first glanced at it and it popped up, the lineup popped up on the phone. I thought he'd done that. I thought he'd done exactly what I suggested. Oh, yeah. But then I noticed Zabaleta was in there, and I thought, oh, hold on a second, this is not great. You have to get it right, otherwise you just damage Hernandez's confidence. Hernandez's head was down for a while because how many times have we said it? Moyes just doesn't fancy him, and then literally all the planets had to align perfectly for Hernandez to come back in the team. He did well. He went on a scoring run, starting at Bournemouth. Even when he didn't score, he won the penalty. And his confidence up, his tail was up, and it was always going to be a risk dropping him for today. So in hindsight, he probably did get it wrong, but I can't blame Moyes too much for that because I wanted him dropped as well. But he went far more defensive than we would have liked with that selection that you're talking about, but very predictable. That's what David Moyes does.
Yeah, I wouldn't have dropped Hernandez. I said in the preview, you can't drop him. He's in form. He's a confidence player. We've seen him when he was out of confidence. He looked crap. He didn't want to be here. He was nodding his head. He'd blown raspberries or whatever. Then all of a sudden he's scored. He's running about with a smile on his face. He's trying stuff he never used to try. He's getting in positions he never used to get into. And I just thought him and Arnautovic were working. Why would you change it? And he's changed it. And I just... You know, if we'd won, we'd be sitting here praising him. So it's only right we sit here and criticise him because he's taken our... Yes, Arnautovic is important, but so's Hernandez. So I just think he's ballsed it up, actually, taking Hernandez out. And yes, the game, you always say it's counter-attacking football. Hernandez can't hold it up, etc. The goal he scored against Watford was counter-attacking football. Antonio went down the wing and crossed it and he headed it in. It's sort of as simple as that. I just think he's got it wrong today. And it's not just that. When we did the preview, we were talking about how Robertson and Alexander-Arnold will get down, and they're the ones you need to worry about because Salah and Mane will come in. We didn't even have a plan for that because they were getting so much joy down that wings. It was ridiculous. And it's frustrating me and it scares me a little bit that we can all see it. We mean you're not managers, we're just football fans, and we can see what Liverpool are going to try and do. We can see what Liverpool did in the first half. It wasn't countered at all, and it's just frustrating. But Charlie, Patrice Evra, what did you make of him? He got his start today, left wing back. Happy enough, or do you think he's sort
of? He's exactly what I expected him to be. He's just someone who's there. I don't think he played particularly well, but that's not to say I think he played badly either. I think he was a body in a bad situation. I'm not sure he was entirely prepared for what was about to come his way. I didn't think he was ever going to be quick, and I don't think he was particularly slow either. I think it was just a time where he was just there to sort of be a body. He at times looked like he had something going forward, which is what you'd want from a wing back. But in general, a performance that was neither here or there for me.
Gonzo, is there any positives from today then? You know, when we were doing a halftime show, I myself was reasonably positive. I thought we saw some neat play by Mario Lanzini and Arnautovic when the three of them got close together. I thought there was neat little triangles, but the problem is in the second half, they were so far apart. I thought it was unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, I got to say, I had such a bad connection the first half. I had graphics that wouldn't have looked out of place on Minecraft, quite frankly. So it was hard for me to tell one player from another. I even said at one point I couldn't differentiate between Ginge and Ogbonna. That's how bad it was. So I got to go on the second half. On the Mario thing, I thought Mario was absolutely atrocious. What him and Kiate were terrible. Literally, Icon passed the ball better than Mario. Passed it in that second half. Literally, I honestly can. But it was awful. Positives, I did think there were two massive positives. I thought Arnautovic was a massive positive, and also Antonio. When we've seen him this season, he hasn't looked fit. He hasn't looked strong. He hasn't looked fast. I thought his runs down the left against Watford started to show a bit, and I thought he looked powerful and fast when he came on. It wasn't just a goal. He was also trying to do something. I do think for the running, that bodes well. And whilst it might be a bit depressive that I do think Liverpool got loads of players that are better than the ones at West Ham, I do think that in Arnautovic and in Antonio, and once Lanzini gets up to fitness, we do have players in those three who are better than a lot of the teams around us have got. So I think those are the positives, Antonio and Arnautovic today.
Charlie, any positives from you?
Oh yeah, Arnautovic is the obvious one. We actually had options on the bench for once, attacking options, instead of having 7 defenders, which was quite nice. It meant that we could actually do something despite not actually doing anything. I mean, we could do something, which is a positive sign going forward. I think, although I think it's very easy to criticise João Mario for today, and I think, like I said, he couldn't control the ball to save his life. He got into good positions and he was moving forward quite well and getting into good positions where he could link up well with Lanzini and Arnautovic. So on a day where he plays better, that would maybe suit him a lot better. And I think today's performance is an outlier. So that's some positive to take from his performance, despite the fact, like I said, he couldn't control the ball to save his life. Noble played okay. I think he was the one player in that midfield who could semi hold their head up high. I don't think he was great, but he was okay. Apart from that, we actually scored a goal, so that was fun. Yeah, that's about it.
I actually thought Zabaleta did all right, believe it or not. I know the goals come from his side. I actually thought he was putting himself about. He's just got no protection, that's all. He had 2 people coming at him at all times, and sometimes you just see him do tackles. You think, what a bloody good player Zabaleta is. I know Gonzo's right about Arnautovic and Antonio being better than the teams around us, but Zabaleta is one of those players as well. The touch of class he has on him sometimes is just ridiculous. I thought Noble had a good first half. I thought he was poor in the second half, but I think a lot of our players just dropped their heads when it went 2-0 after 5 minutes. I thought a lot of them just thought, right, that's it, game over, bad day at the office, Swansea next week. And come the end of it, it looked like they were ready to play Swansea. I thought Eva was okay. I think Ogbonna had his poorest game for a long time, but doesn't mean he's crap. It just means that the rest of his games have been such high. I'll tell you what, I thought Adrian played well. He's going to get a lot of stick for that 3rd goal, but I do think he's made the right call coming for it. He just misses the ball, unfortunately, but he made some good saves today, I thought. In the corner, the first one, again, people point at him, but someone's responsibility is to be in there. If Sunday League teams do it, you go in front of your goalie and protect him. Someone's not done it, or someone has not organised that. But if you look at it back, even Mark Noble's all over the place when that ball comes in. They're just not ready for the corner. Basic errors, and if we don't cut that out, we're going to be in trouble. Well, we're potentially in trouble anyway. We're going to be even more trouble. And Avic's getting polished for the obvious reasons. But I think Mario's a bit harsh. I think when we did a video on Mario, it's on the channel, it'll be on your screen soon. And one thing people in Italy said was, when the going gets tougher, the game's a little bit physical, he's not interested. That's what today was. It was a little bit physical. It was a bit tough. We didn't see much of the ball, and he didn't look like he was that bothered by it. He was just, the game passed him by. But Lanzini's a little bit fitter, which is a good thing. Evra's got a game under his belt now, which will help him for next week, etc. But Gonzo, do you want to just round it up in your...
Yeah, I don't. It's a tough one. I feel like I should be more annoyed and more angry than I am. I just think they're really, really good. I really do. I think Liverpool have got that. As I said, they've got so much pace in them, and I know Salah's good, but I still watched him today and thought, even though I've seen him, he's even better than I thought he was. As I say, Oxlade-Chamberlain did so many good things today. But from us, I just looked at Arnautovic. And maybe he wouldn't get in Liverpool's team, but I thought he was the one player that might add a crack at it. I always worried that when they sold Coutinho that they might look at Lanzini and if it would get Lanzini over. I wouldn't be surprised if Liverpool will today be looking at Arnautovic and thinking, actually, that's the one we wouldn't mind having in the team. It's frustrating, but the big test is next week, and then the game after. Those are our big games, as you said, Gio, in the preview. We will not stay up or be relegated on the back of our game at Anfield. So suck it up, move on to the next game, and let's just hope that Moyes has a little bit more daring and a little bit more panache about him for the next game.
Charlie, final thoughts?
I think that Moyes is probably going to get away with it today because Liverpool are so good. They make the simple look sublime. They're just so amazingly good going forward that I think he's going to get away with it when he should be criticised because he didn't do anything when he should have. And it's frustrating because when I say there was something to be got from that game, I don't think we were going to win him 3-0. I think that we could have taken them to a 2-2 draw or something equally high scoring with them still scoring against us. But it's what it is. Tomorrow, next week's the bigger game. we have to look like the team we were against Watford against that, because if we rolled up like we did in the second half today, then Swansea could quite easily roll under us as well.
Yeah, one thing I want to say though, actually, and I don't think this will be too popular, I thought Creswell played okay, actually. There's a few times the ball come in, it looked like goal on a plate, and he nicked it. It was twice, it was off Salah's head, twice. The one cross coming in to the back post, and second one, there was Firmino had a shot, Adrian saved it, and the ball got chipped back into Salah. Salah was there, he was way to head it, and Creswell come in. I think he's doing okay, actually. I like Creswell in the left centre-back position, but today, Liverpool have one world-class player, Salah. They have a world-class partnership up front, but we made them look like they had a few more world-class players than they actually do. They're better than us, but I think we made them look even better than they actually are sometimes. Disappointing, bad day at the office. We write it off. And as Gonzo said, if we get relegated, it's not because we lost at Anfield. These games aren't going to decide our fate. It's the ones next week against Swansea. Could you check out our Mario video? It's on your screen right now. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Drop a like on the video. We'll be back next week with our preview for Swansea. We've got another Hammers Chat Insight video coming up, hopefully. We might have other videos. We'll catch you then.